Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 12 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a Q&A. Now, this is where I take all the questions that you've asked over the course of the week, and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, if you've never seen a Q&A before, the idea is really simple. I take all of the questions that's asked over the week and I answer them. Now, here's the thing. If I miss a question, I'm ever so sorry. Sometimes that happens. I tend to film these on around about a Tuesday or a Wednesday. It's currently like 7 o'clock in the evening on a Tuesday. I'm filming it now. So if you want to guarantee to have your question answered, please make sure that you ask it before sort of Tuesday or Wednesday, and then it will be guaranteed to be answered on the Q&A. If I miss it, I'm really sorry. Ask it again, and I promise I will get to it the following week. I don't ever pre-plan the answers to these Q&As. I tend to just flow with it. I think that's the way that you get the best answers out of me. But if there's something that I think has more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? More of a meaty substance, I'll make that into a video in its own right. With that being said, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to be looking at this week. I've just had a flick through. There's a lot of questions. Without further ado, I'm going to get into this week's Q&A. Okay, so the first question is by Adrian Suter, and Adrian says, happy birthday, Ryland. He had a great birthday, thanks, Adrian. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. The progress he makes is amazing. I agree. I'm a bit biased. I'm his dad, but I think he's smashing it. Now for the question, what are the first magic tricks you have ever learned that you still do today? Well, I can imagine that very few people can say this, but the very first two tricks that I ever learned really properly, I still do to this day. Now, the first one was the Svengali deck. I remember getting into magic. My when I first bought my first proper trick, it was at Skegness Market. I was a redcoat at Butlins, and I went to a market at Skegness, and there was this guy pitching Svengali decks and I think haunted packs and a couple of other things. And I bought myself a Svengali deck, and I still use the Svengali deck to this day. In fact, at some point, I'm going to be bringing out a project on the Svengali deck. So the very first trick I actually learned, I still do to this day. And one of the very first tricks I ever learned as well was dynamic coins. And dynamic coins, as you know, if you've seen Pro Caps, is something that I use in my work to this day. I just use Pro Caps now instead of dynamic coins, but it's basically the same thing, really. It's just a bottle cap instead of a metal cap. So the first two tricks that I really learned, I'm still doing. The first stage trick I ever learned, I'm not really doing anymore, but I'm doing a variation of it. And that was the chair suspension. You see, when I first got into magic, close-up magic wasn't as popular as it is now, and everybody was about learning stage magic. And I remember desperately wanting a chair suspension. I just knew I needed that chair suspension. Now, when I got the chair suspension, I didn't really have anywhere to perform it, but I knew I wanted it. And I remember getting it eventually. I think it was for my birthday or something. And I was so excited, and I just played with it constantly. I eventually put it in my show, but it was a few years later. And it's been in and out of my show over the years. I don't really do the chair suspension anymore. I do the Spontus 360 instead, which is a really cool levitation. It's kind of a bit of an upgrade. There's nothing wrong with the chair suspension. In fact, I was at Russ Brown's House of Secrets a little while ago, and I was watching Russ perform, and he did the chair suspension on my daughter Thea, and his presentation for it is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, I'm very high on the chair suspension. So there you go. That's the answer to your question, really. It's the chair suspension, it's dynamic coins, and Svengali deck. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay, so the next question is from Antonio Diaz Ballesteros. And Antonio says, hey, Craig, another question. What are the best tricks with mini cards and jumbo cards? What are the best tricks with mini cards and jumbo cards? Okay, so mini cards, I think the best trick with a mini card has to be Diminishing Returns by Mike Powers. I have performed that for years. When I was doing virtual shows, it was actually a big part of my virtual shows. Perfect for virtual shows. I think it's amazing. It's also a very good trick to do in a parlor situation or a formal close-up situation. It's not the best trick to do walk around, but in terms of impact, it's incredible. I absolutely love I love Diminishing Returns. If you don't know what it is, you have a card picked, it shrinks, it grows. There's just so much going on. I saw Lord Harry Harrington's lecture at the Magic Circle recently, and he did a really nice thing with a mini card as well called Mini Me. Now you can actually go and check that out if you want to on the 5x5 I put up on Monday. I put up a 5x5 all about Lord Harry Harrington, and I included a live performance of him doing that Mini Me routine. I thought that was really good. Squeeze by Tommy Wonder is a great trick. If you don't know what it is, you have a mini deck of cards, you have a regular sized deck, you have a mini card box, and you squeeze the full size deck of cards into the mini card box. It's excellent. You can pick them up from various different places. It is a commercially available prop, but also Dan Harlan taught it on a Penguin project that he put out about Tommy Wonder's material. He taught how to make one, but Squeeze is great. The shrinking card case is another really great trick. I feel like it's Rob Bromley, but it might not be. It might be one of a million people. Could be John Cornelius comes to mind as well. I know John Kennedy has a version of it, but anyway, there's lots of different versions. The shrinking card case, where you have a deck of cards, you take the cards out of the case, and the box shrinks. That's really good. All of those are great. I'm pretty sure Perseus put out a project on mini cards. Perseus, is it Acromanus? Mini cards. I'm pretty sure that Perseus put out a routine or a project on cards with mini. I can't see anything here. I'm pretty sure that Perseus put out through Illusionist many years ago a collection of routines with mini cards. And memory serves that he did, but I might be wrong. And then the other thing is, myself and Lloyd have got a project that's coming out in 2023. Super excited about this project, and I've got to tell you right now, there's certain routines in there that use mini cards in a completely different way. Like, we've gone completely out the box. We've taken the box, we've thrown the box away, we've stepped outside the box, and then we've gone even further away. So that's coming in 2023. That's one of the projects that me and Lloyd are doing together. In terms of jumbo cards, I think there's been less routines with jumbo cards. You know what I used to do all of the time with a jumbo card? I used to do this in restaurant work all of the time. I'd have a jumbo card, and it's not mine. It was based on something I read in a book by Paul Daniels many years ago, and he did it with an envelope, and I just used a jumbo card. I had a jumbo card in my pocket, and underneath the jumbo card, I had a card that matched that jumbo card. So if the jumbo card was the 5 of hearts, I'd have the 5 of hearts next to it. So as I take out the jumbo card face down, I'm holding the regular card underneath it. So I give a deck of cards to someone to shuffle, and I take out this jumbo card and I say, this is my prediction. Can you do me a favor? Can you deal cards onto my hand for me and just stop whenever you want to? It's completely free choice. And I made a big deal of them shuffling the cards and dealing the cards onto my hand. And then I'd say, brilliant, hold your hand out for me. And as I'd say, hold your hand out for me, I'd put the jumbo card on top of the dealt cards in my hand. And to gesture with this hand, that was the justification for putting it down. And that obviously aligned that card with the rest of the cards they dealt. So when they then put their hand out, I put the jumbo card on their hand. And then they, I turn the jumbo card over and it's the 5 of hearts, and the card that they dealt to is the 5 of hearts. And that was a really strong trick. I used to do that for ages. Joker Magic had a vanishing deck that was really nice, or a vanishing card box. And it was a card box, but it was all magnetic, and the other side of it matched a jumbo card. So at the end of a card routine, you'd switch in this card box, and you'd take the jumbo card and you'd just hit it, and the entire deck would disappear or change into something. That was quite good as well from memory. And Mark Leverage had a really nice thing with 2 jumbo cards. And he did a matrix with 4 regular cards and 2 jumbo cards. And what would happen is the regular cards would jump into the corner, a bit like Matrix. But you used the jumbo cards to cover up the regular cards, and the jumbo card was gaffed, and it was really nice. That was a really great trick. I haven't seen that in a long time. I can't think of much else with jumbo cards, though. I have a jumbo invisible deck, which I use for the comedy prediction routine by Cody Fisher. That's a really fun trick, but it's just a jumbo invisible deck. Can't really think of anything else with jumbo cards, but maybe I need to go through my files and have a think, and maybe do a 5x5 on routines with jumbo cards. That might be something fun to do. But hopefully, that might have given you a few ideas. So hopefully that helps, Antonio. Okay, so we've got another question here. Here's a question request from a fellow Memdeck user. Could you do a video about your favorite full deck, full shuffles? You must have read my mind. That is something that I'm actually planning on doing very, very soon. I've actually had a few people ask that. I'm putting together a new course on the Netrix, all about full deck, full shuffles. And it's going to be, hopefully, the biggest collection of full deck, full shuffles that there is. And I thought what I'd do, and I'm hoping to get that up on the next upload, which is not next Monday, but the Monday after. And I thought to coincide with that release of that new Sleight School, what I thought I would also do is do a video kind of highlighting some of my favourite full deck, full shuffles. So look out for that. That is coming on Magic TV. You must be psychic, because that is something that I'm planning on doing sooner rather than later. Okay, so the next question is from Simon Croft, and Simon says, "Hi Craig, thanks for all your hard work and advice. Have you any ideas using Joel Miranda's legacy system?" I like Joel. I think Joel's a really good guy. He's a very nice guy. I think that he really cares about Magic, and he really cares about making an impact on the Magic community. And yeah, I think he's a super nice guy. I haven't got the legacy system. I just haven't. I considered getting it at Blackpool when it was like all hyped up to bits, and I didn't get it because it was just incredibly expensive, to be perfectly honest. It was like really, really expensive. And I went and looked at the wallet, and it wasn't, some people were saying it was like ridiculously thick. It wasn't ridiculously thick, but it was a lot thicker than I like to have. I mean, I use an Orphic wallet, and this legacy wallet was a lot thicker than that. And so it didn't really suit me. Then at Magic Live, Joel brought me over to his stand and showed me the legacy system. And it's nice. It's really good. I mean, as you would expect from Joel, it works. It's reliable. It's nice. It's great. You know, he's now bought lots of add-ons for it. So if you wanted to go in a slim wallet, he's got like an add-on that goes into your pocket that'll allow you to do that. He's got like chips and stuff. It's really cool. I'm still not going to get it. And there's a couple of, so I can't review it because I'm not going to get it. But what I can do is tell you why I'm not going to get it. And there's three reasons. And the first reason is it's incredibly expensive. Like, it's really expensive. Now, don't get me wrong. I've got no problem spending a lot of money on a trick if I think it's worth it. For example, I've just bought a few months ago the whole dancing hank routine for Ryland Show. You know, the whole of it, the dancing hank routine, you know, from Sean Begonia. It's not cheap. It's a lot of money. A few months before that, I bought, for my own show, I bought the Master Prediction System. Again, I had a place for it. No problem spending the money if I think it'll work in the show, right? The legacy system is very expensive for a close-up trick. But it doesn't really allow you to do anything massively different to what I can accomplish using other methods for a fraction of the cost. Now, what it does really well, don't get me wrong. But let's take the dancing hank, for example. There's lots of different ways of making a hank dance. When you look at extreme hank, for example, and that handkerchief is dancing around inside that bottle held by a spectator, there's very few ways of actually doing that and making it look as clean as what Sean has done, right? There's just not. So there's that to consider. The other thing to consider, so there's that. There's not. Let me explain what I mean. So think about what the effect is of the legacy system. Really, the ultimate effect is that you've predicted something inside a wallet, right? There's a wallet that's been on the table from the very beginning. They think of something, they think of anything, and that thing that they've predicted is inside the wallet that's been on the table from the beginning. Well, there's lots of different ways of accomplishing that. There's lots and lots of different ways. You know, double writing, forcing in a very clean way. I mean, there's just so many different ways. And maybe I'll do a video at some point. But I looked at it and I was like, well, for the effect that I'm trying to achieve here, I can achieve the same sort of effect without carrying around the wallet or, basically just carrying around the wallet. You know, there's no, I could achieve the same thing without actually using the legacy system, which means that the price is very expensive for what I'm getting. The other thing is I don't think the input system is great. Because as far as I'm aware, the input system is they type into a notes page on your phone and then that's the input method. I think that if you're going to have this impossible prediction where the wallet's been on the table the whole time, I think you need to think of a better way to input this information than putting it into the notes page of your phone. I think that almost gives the game away a little bit. And I know that there's other methods as well, like it's got chips inside cards and they pick a chip or something like that, which is fine, but then it becomes kind of, like almost a forced item. So I don't know. It's just very expensive for what it is. And I think I can achieve the same thing without having to carry a wallet around. And also, pocket space is very valuable to me. I've already got a wallet or even 2 wallets that I carry around with me. I don't need another wallet. And if I am going to take another wallet, I'm going to have to sacrifice something. And I just don't think that the legacy system, for me, is better than anything else that I would have to remove in order to do it. Doesn't mean that it's not good. I'm sure it's reliable. And I've spoken to people that swear by it. It's just not for me. So can't really give you any ideas. Without having one, I'd need to have one in order to come up with some ideas for it. As I'm not going to spend the money, I'm not going to be able to come up with any ideas. But it might be interesting to do a video on different ways to achieve the same thing. So if you saw the video I did a few months ago, I did a video on the peaking. I came up with 5 different ways of actually doing a peak without actually using a peak wallet. Would anybody like to see a video of the best ways to accomplish the same type of routine that they're advertising the legacy system for without using the legacy system? If you'd like to see that, let me know. That'd be a video that I would be happy to do. So let me know down below. Okay, so the next question is from Benoit P. And Benoit says, hi, Craig. Hi, Benoit. What do you think on using Chinese-looking coins in various colours? I like the fact that those coins look very different than regular coins, but do you know if those Chinese-coloured coins ever really existed in China or elsewhere, or are they just there as a market for magicians? Thanks. I don't really know. I mean, I do use a lot of Chinese coins in my work. The Triple C, Charming Chinese Challenge by Troy Hooser, is one of my favourite tricks of all time. I absolutely love it. And I think it's super commercial, and I love every different variation of it. Justin Miller has an incredible variation of Triple C. If you haven't seen it, go and ask him to do it. And I saw another version of a variation of the Charming Chinese Challenge at the Session Convention this year, which again was very good. I think it was Mario Lopez that was demonstrating that. So there's lots of different versions that are out there. And when I do Charming Chinese Challenge or anything else with coins, I use the, even though I rip into them a lot on the channel, the N series, the N2G series, some of their N2G stuff is very good. Ryland uses their Hopping Half set a lot, and I use the RBG coin set an awful lot as well in my work. I think the RBG coin set is amazing. And when I do stuff with Chinese coins, never, ever, ever have had a problem in terms of people going, well, they're not real. But then again, me as a performer, I don't really use coins from the UK, rarely. I do silver dollars an awful lot, and I actually like that. I had a go off topic. I had a question from somebody, not on this channel, but I was speaking to somebody a little while ago, and it was about pro caps. And they said that the pro caps, the quarters don't really mesh as well with the stack as the 10p's do. And I said, well, I can't really comment because I haven't tried that and I don't really have any quarters around the house. But I said, my work as a coin magician, I'm constantly using American coins. And the only justification I use is, hey, I've got these coins. They're from America. They're big and silver and shiny. You can see them from a distance. Do you want to have a look at these? Check them out. Yeah, I'm going to show you something with them. And it creates intrigue by using these coins that they've never seen before. It brings people in. I love using coins from different countries. I really do. I love talking about the fact I'm a coin collector, and let me show you part of my coin collection. Look at this. This is amazing. And I said to this guy from America, if this is an issue for you, if you genuinely perceive this to be an issue, grab yourself some 10 pences and do the same thing as me. And just say, hey, I came back from on a holiday in the UK a little while ago, and they have 10p's. They're a little bit like quarters, but they've got the Queen's head on them. Have a look at these. I also picked up these 2 bottle caps while I was over there. I want to show you something with these bottle caps and these 10p's. Check this out. And now all of a sudden, you're into it. And the same thing applies to Chinese coins. There's nothing wrong with bringing Chinese coins out. I haven't got a clue if Chinese coins were like that back in the olden days. I very much doubt it. But nobody else knows either. Unless you're actually going to a coin expert, nobody else knows either. So if I just say, hey, these are Chinese coins, or they're actually genuine replicas of Chinese coins, let me show you something with them, there you go. That's all you need to do to justify them. So I don't really think it's too much of a trouble. And for years, I've done magic with Chinese coins, and I've never once had anyone call me out and go, they're not real Chinese coins. So I don't think it's an issue. Okay, so the next question is from Stuart Etheridge, and Stuart said, by a massive margin, excuse me, my biggest positive influence in magic are the one-on-one sessions I do with you as part of the Gold Netrix membership. Oh, Stuart, that means an awful lot, man. Seriously, thank you so much. What has been your biggest positive influence in magic since the start of your career, and why? Man, that's a great question. Isn't that a good question? What's been my biggest positive influence? Well, I think there's been a few. Right now, right now, I'd have to say Ryland. Genuinely, I'm not going to give that as my answer, but right now, I'd have to say Ryland, because I can't ever start losing interest in magic. People say all the time, oh, I've lost interest in magic, or I find it really hard to practice. I never get that. And the reason I never get that is because Ryland is constantly there going, hey, Dad, let me show you this. Hey, Dad, let me show you that. Hey, Dad, let me show you the other. It's living with somebody who's obsessed with magic 24/7. And I'm constantly having to learn something. I'm constantly having to watch him and help him work on his act. It's been a huge influence on me because he inspires me. There's magic he does, and genuinely he does it better than me. Because, I'm not the sort of guy that can do the beautiful stuff on stage. He's learning manipulation and dancing cane routines and everything. And I'm watching him and I'm like, man, I couldn't pull that off. If I spent 6 months practicing the dancing cane, I could not pull that off. And so he's a big influence on me. He's genuinely a massive positive influence on me because he drives me forward every single week and reminds me about how amazing magic is and how amazing it is to be a magician, and the impact it can have, not just on yourself, but on your friends and on people you're showing it to. So I'd say Ryland at the moment, but the biggest influence I would say, man, you know what I'm going to say? And you'll never have heard of this person, but I would say Jim Trainer. And I don't think anybody would have expected me to say that. But if you don't know who Jim Trainer was, Jim Trainer co-owned World Magic Shop. Well, he actually co-founded World Magic Shop. Originally, World Magic Shop was co-founded with Jim Trainer and Costas Damiano. Costas Damiano ended up leaving World Magic Shop for various different reasons and setting up a different shop, which I don't think is open anymore. But Jim then became business partners with David Penn, and unfortunately, a few years ago, passed away. But Jim was a huge influence on my career for many different reasons. First of all, he was the person that was responsible for me releasing my first products. I would come in and hang out in World Magic Shop, and this is before David Penn even got involved in World Magic Shop. I would be in there just hanging around, and he would be, like pushing me forward, and he was the one that pushed me to put my first projects together. Because the first projects were put out through World Magic Shop before Dave Penn even got involved in the company. He was the one that got me my first lecture. My first lecture was the Magic Circle in London, and he got me that lecture. He was the one that reached out to the Magic Circle and said, hey, you need Craig Petty lecturing there. Off the back of doing that lecture, I ended up getting straight into AIMC, Associate Level of the Magic Circle. That wouldn't have happened without Jim. He was a little bit like a Q. He used to come up with all weird and wonderful ideas. I would have an idea for a trick and he'd make it happen. He was a genuinely nice person. He got me my first big gig at a convention, lecturing at a big convention. He's just always been there and he's always pushed me. And, there's been times in my career where I've felt self-doubt and that you're not good enough, you're a charlatan, just kind of real imposter syndrome. And he was always there to push me forward. And it was such a sad thing when he passed away. It really was. And right up until the end, he was always really pushing me. And I stayed at his house a few times, and he was just a really nice guy. And if I actually think about it, and I think about my career trajectory, he was a big part of pushing me forward and putting me into the position where I was and I am now. And I don't think I'd be where I am now if it wasn't for gym trainer. So I'd say gym trainer. That would be my answer, Stuart. Okay, so the next question is from KAS, and KAS says, are you still planning on releasing a flipper coin project through Penguin? I recently inherited a Schoolcraft Liberty flipper, and I'm always looking for material to get me started. I've always dabbled in coin magic, but never got too serious. Keep up the great work. Absolutely 100%. I have no idea when Penguin are going to be bringing out this flipper project, but they are. It's filmed. They have the live performances. They have the tutorials. They have everything. They have everything. It is a massive project, all on the flipper coin. I took everything that I know about it. I took all of the material from Flipped Out. I added new material that people have never seen before. I updated handlings. I updated routines. I updated everything. They have everything. I have no idea when Penguin will be bringing it out. That's kind of not my remit, but from my point of view, my bit has been done. So I've actually done my part towards this. They've got everything they need. Now it's down to them. If I were you, I'd reach out to either Sean Dunn. Sean Dunn's head of creative. Reach out to Sean Dunn or contact Penguin and ask them if they have any idea when the Flipper project's coming out. And they can tell you. I have no idea. All I know is from my point of view, it's some of the best work I've ever done, and it's filmed and it's in the bag. So the next question is from Nevio, and Nevio says, hi Craig, I'm new to stage magic and I need a sound system which is as budget friendly as possible. It should include a microphone that I can mount to my ear. It should have an input jack for a music system. I'll perform it on normal non-theatre stages. Can you recommend me everything? Thanks so much for your answer. Love your channel. Well, I use a Bose 3, which is incredibly expensive, so I wouldn't go for that. What is the make of speaker? I don't know. Let me see if I can find it. There we go. Okay. I don't really know. There is a good PA system. There we go. So I use a Bose 3, which is very expensive. But there is a really good PA system that you can get that's actually not that expensive. And I can't remember the name of it. Leave it with me. I promise I will get back to you. I don't want to be sitting here on this Q&A going, because that's just terrible. But I will find out for you and let you know on the next week's show. There's a really good PA system, and I can't remember the name of it, that a lot of people use. But I use a Bose 3 with a Sennheiser head mic, but that's quite an expensive. And I've got a Shure mic as well. Shure are cheaper, but very, very good. But there's a PA system that comes with an internal battery. You can plug Bluetooth in. It's got a headphone, wireless head mic attached to it as well. It's really good. I can't remember the name of it, but let me get back to you, because that's probably, if you're on a budget, that's probably the one you want to go for. Okay, so the next question is from David Blaine, and David says, what do you think will be trick of the year? I'm sure you have some ideas, even though it's only November. Man, I don't know. There's so many tricks that could be trick of the year. Lightyear by Kyle Purnell was a biggie. I know that a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I thought Lux by Lloyd Barnes was incredible. There's a trick coming out by my friend Roman Armstrong in November called Hard Stretch. That's coming out through Alakazam. I think that's amazing. There's been a lot of really good tricks this year, like a lot of really, really, really good tricks. Don't forget the Orphic wallet, I think, came out this year. And the Orphic wallet has just taken the world by storm. I'm pretty sure it was this year that the Orphic wallet came out. Refilled by Henry Harriers was really good. I'm doing that in almost every single show. So there's so much really good stuff that's come out in the last in the last year. I know I'm going to do an end of year sort of wrap up like I always do, and kind of count down what I think are the best tricks of 2022. And it's going to be a difficult one this year because there's a lot of really good tricks. I don't know which one it's going to be. I'm not too sure, but let me know in the comments down below. What's your favorite trick of 2022 so far? Okay, so the next question is from David M. And David says, "Hi Craig, hey David, hope you're well. What is your favorite switching device for card to impossible location for close-up? I use Chop sometimes and really love it, but I also have too many switching devices to count. The Kennedy Mystery Box, Fob by David Penn, etc. I love the Kennedy Mystery Box, but I hate the fact that it looks like a Tenyo toy." Yeah, I know what you mean, man. What's my favorites? So my favorite box, there's a couple of them. The first one is Paragon. Is it Paragon 360 by John Allen? That's the incredible see-through crystal card to impossible location box. I think that's great. I'm sure it's called Paragon by John Allen. That's really good, and it just looks like a see-through box. And you know, every time I see John do it, I get blown away. But my favorite one is by Tommy Wonder, and we reviewed it on this channel a little while ago. We even did it in a review show special. It's the sort of Tommy Wonder ring box. It's the card to impossible location into sort of a little ring box, and it's Tommy's method. I'm sure it got bought out by Bluther Magic or somebody like that. If you search Tommy Wonder on Penguin, you'll see it. We definitely reviewed it. That's a really good prop, and that's the one that I tend to carry around with me, and I do most of the time. It's a little bit more low tech than you know, the mystery box and things like that, but it looks amazing. It really does. It's one of my favorites. In terms of I do love Chop. I use Chop all of the time. In a formal show, I use Chop because it feels so organic. You know, hey, I've got this card. I'm going to pop it inside this cardboard cup. I'm going to put that over there. We're going to get back to it a little bit. Cool. Let me get into it. I mean, wow, right? So if you don't know what I'm talking about, on the new Chop that I put out through Penguin Magic, I included my handling of how to do mystery box using the Chop gimmick, but with a playing card. And that's the way that I do it an awful lot now in a formal show. But I still think one of the best ways for close-up is Jay Sankey's paperclipped, or the full view switch, I think he calls it. I mean, it's just incredible. If you actually think about it, there's no props. You literally just have a paperclip on a folded up card. You do whatever routine you want to do. You take the paperclip off, you put it away, and you've switched the card. I mean, when you think about it, there isn't really a better way to switch a card. It's all motivated. It looks great. It looks like it's meant to. It's just a really great way to switch a card for another card. And you have a logical reason to put the paperclip on to keep it together. It just looks great. There is a little bit of sleight of hand to it. It's not a difficult move, but it's a move that requires practice. If you find the move a little bit too difficult, the other thing that you can look at is Barking Dog by Etienne Pradier. Now, the Barking Dog by Etienne Pradier is available directly from his website, and I think most good magic dealers as well. And it's a bulldog clip, and the bulldog clip has a card in it, or you can take a card and put it in the bulldog clip. And then you put it down and you do the switch, and when you do the switch, it changes. And the bulldog clip does the hard work for you. So it's a bit like the full view switch, but without palming, because the bulldog clip is gimmicked. Now, if you want to see that in action, if you go and look at the interview that I did with Etienne Pradier, probably about 1.5 years ago now, I did an interview with Etienne, and he actually demonstrated and explained the Barking Dog. So if you go and look at that interview, you can go check that out. But those are probably my favorites. Those are the ones that I would recommend the most. Okay, so the next question is from Daniel Carter. And Daniel says, "Hey Craig, I created a named signed card to wallet trick, which is a signed card and named card to wallet fusion using the Orphic wallet. And I was wondering if you or anyone else has created that exact trick. I have been showing it to my magician friends and crediting the routine to myself, and I'd just like to know if someone had created the trick before me so I can give them credit. I have no idea, literally no idea, because just reading that doesn't really tell me what the trick is. If you want me to look at it, privately, and you know, obviously I won't tell anyone about the trick or anything like that. If you want to send me a performance video, maybe just an unlisted YouTube video or something like that, you can do so. Just send it to craig@magictv.org. That's craig@magictv.org, and I'll look at it and I'll email you back and I'll let you know whether I've seen it before. But to be honest, just saying a name, sign, card to wallet trick, I wouldn't know if that's been done or not, to be honest. I mean, you'd have to send me a video and I'll look at it and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, so the next question is by Divishan Magician, and Divishan says, I've just got a pack of cards for this. What should you do if after switching a card, i.e. a double lift or a top change, someone says, show me the card before putting it back in the deck? So I assume what Divishan's saying here is, let's say you're showing people the 7 of clubs and you've done a double lift and you're taking that card off, and somebody says, hey, show me the card before putting it back in the deck. And obviously it's not the card that they looked at. What do you do in that situation? Well, I'm guessing if you're putting it back into the deck, you're doing some sort of control or you're doing some sort of ambitious card, because, you know, after you've done a switch, it could be going in their hand. Anything could be happening, right? So there's a couple of different options here. So we're going to assume that someone says, show me the card before putting it back in the deck, right? So you're putting it back into the deck. So you've shown somebody the 8 of spades, for example, and you're at this point and they say, show me the card. The first gambit that you can use, and this is something I've used a couple of times if I have that sort of spectator, is you start off by putting the card back into the deck. So you start off by, you know, somebody says, hey, show me the card, and you put it into the deck and you act like you haven't heard them. It's great if you're in like a gigging situation and it's loud and it's noisy, and they go, hey, show me the card. I go, oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. You've already done it. That works really, really well. So it can just be here. I'm going to pop the card down into the middle of the deck. Hey, show me the card. Sorry, what did he say? Show me the card. Oh, sorry, I've already put it away. That kind of kills that thing dead. That works really well. If you're in the middle of an ambitious card, and so you're going to show the cards come to the top of the pack, and they did that, the next phase should be really fair, as in, you know, you don't want to be in a situation, again, where they're going to say, show me the card, because you can't use that thing twice. So, you know, the second time I'd say, look, you asked me to show you putting the card in the deck. I'm guessing you didn't think that was the card. Look, I'm going to leave that card face up. There it is, face up in the deck. Now, look, watch. All I have to do is give a little twist, and it comes right there to the top. Does that answer your question? So, you know, it's very important to be mindful of that. The other thing you can do is, if you don't want to just ignore them and you're in this situation and they say, show me the card, you can just go, yeah, okay, hang on. You can just get a break underneath the top card and you can go, you want to show you the card? Absolutely. Hold your hand out for me. There it is, the Queen of Hearts. Okay. In fact, would you like to put it into the pack yourself? Okay. And then you turn the double back over. So in other words, if you're in this situation, you just put the card back onto the deck and you just do a double turnover. Now, the other thing is, if they're thinking that, hey, it's not really the card that's going into the pack, you can do that. So you can do a double lift, and then you can do this sort of move. So you can say, look, I'm really going to put that card down in the middle. I want you to see. In fact, I'm going to cut it so it's further down at the bottom. There you go. Is that fair? And it's still on top of the deck, because if you take a double, and this is a move that I'm sure you guys know, if you take a double and you put the double into the middle of the pack, and then you use your middle finger to push the bottom card of the double flush, you can then use this forefinger to pull all of the cards below the outjug card out, take a few of them and put them on top, and that brings that card to the top. So if you're in this situation, so you say, look, I'm going to take your card. Your card was the Queen of Hearts, right? I'm going to take your card. I'm going to pop it down into the middle of the deck. Sorry, you want me to show you the card? Yeah, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll show you the card going into the middle. I don't want you to think I'm cheating. Look, there it is. It's going right there into the middle. Now, that's about halfway down, but I think I'm going to put it a little bit further, right? That's fair, yeah? No, it's on top of the deck. Are you not following this? So that's, you know, another way that you can do it. The other option is you could just call their bluff on it. It depends on the routine that you're using. But let's just say that you've done a double turnover. You've got the Queen of Hearts, and somebody says, show me the card. And you go, well, I can't show you the card because the problem is, you know, I'm magic. So if I flick the card, it vanishes, turns into a 6. You're probably wondering where the Queen is, right? Yeah, it's the one behind your ear. And you can do that sort of thing and just jazz with it. A lot of the time, when it comes to this sort of thing, it's just about thinking on your feet. It's just about thinking on your feet. And the thing to understand is the spectator, they don't know which direction that you're going with your magic. They don't know the direction you're going in. So you have the ability to change direction literally at the drop of a hat, right? So if they're saying, hey, show me the card, I want to see the card, you could just go, well, you want to see the card? I can't show you the card. The reason I can't show you the card is because it's turned into a two of clubs. If I want to turn it back into your card, I just give it a little shake and it's oh, hang on, that wasn't your card. Your card wasn't a black queen, it was a red queen, wasn't it? Let me just flick that. Turns into a red queen. Was that the one? And it's kind of just going in a different direction and, being prepared to go off script in order to fix a situation that might have occurred based on how the members of the audience are being. So hopefully that'll answer your question. Okay, so the next question again is by Different Magician, and Different says, could you do the David Blaine 2-card Monte? If you do, could we have a live performance of it? Preferably at a gig, but also a live Magic Live is fine. Yeah, I do the 2-card Monte, do it all the time. And yes, I can 100% show it you. In fact, I'll even show you a variation of Lloyd Barnes. Lloyd Barnes came up with a variation of the 2-card Monte, which is even better, the original 2-card Monte. I'll perform both of those. I'll get some live performance footage at a gig at some point. It's a little bit harder to do that, as you can imagine, but I can definitely film a Magic Live in the next week or so. So I'll do that for you now, and I'll try and get some live performances for a 5x5. Okay? The next question again is from Antonio Diaz Ballesteros, and he says, hey Craig, could you review Snow Deck by Magic Dream Paris? It looks awesome. Does look awesome, doesn't it? Yes, I 100% can review it for you. I just need to get my hands on it. As soon as I get my hands on it, I'm dying to review it, actually. I love Magic Dream stuff. I'm sure it'll be great, but yeah, look out for a review. It'll be coming soon. Okay, so the next question again is from David Blaine, and he says, regarding Remarkable, are there any markers that have the card on both sides of the Sharpie? So if you want to switch it out and it just says, now it says 6 of hearts freely on both sides. I don't know, to be honest. There might be, there might not. I'm not 100% sure. The person, definitely the Richard Sanders Remarkable cards, markers don't come with that. But you might want to check into Steve Rowe. So Steve Rowe does a whole bunch of different markers. He's got celebrities written on there and everything. I think he has the ability to print marker pens. So speak to him. He's at the Gimmick King, and he would probably know if you can get those, and if you can't, he might even be able to custom make some for you. He's a very good guy when it comes to that sort of thing. So I would suggest going to Steve Rowe's site. It's called the Gimmick King. Just search Gimmick King Steve Rowe and just drop him an email. Okay, so the next question is from Magician Edge. And Magician Edge says, hi, maybe not a question for you, but you have insides everywhere. Last year at the BMC, there was a competition for Family Entertainer of the Year. This year, it's the One. Will the regular audience be able to watch it too? Absolutely. The One is going to be replacing, as far as I'm aware, the One is going to be replacing the Saturday night gala show. So in other words, Blackpool goes over the sort of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the One is going to be one of the gala shows on one of the evenings. I can't remember which one. So instead of a gala show, you're going to have this incredible competition and you're going to be able to watch it. And I think that they're going to compete twice, because if it's anything like last year, there's going to be 2 gala shows. There's going to be the early evening and the later evening one. So everybody who's got a ticket to Blackpool will be able to see the competition. You can have assigned seating. You'll be able to see the competition. Absolutely not a problem. And then I believe the winner will be announced on the Sunday night and will perform their act again, as far as I'm aware. But 100%, any attendee of the Blackpool Magic Convention will be able to watch the competition. Okay, so the next question is from 72A1D372. Catchy name there. Can we get a video on things you carry on a keychain? Absolutely, it's something I'm putting together. I'm doing another EDC video, a couple of EDC videos now, so look out for it. One is going to be magic that you can put on your keychain. Okay, so the next question is from MCK Studios. And MCK Studios says, thanks for answering my questions. Do you have a favourite marketed chair test style effect? Yes, I do. And I can't believe I'm giving this away because this has been a big part of my show for at least 3 years. And I've not mentioned it on Magic TV before, but I've been thinking about doing a video on it. So I'll mention it here now, and we'll expand on it with live performances in the future. I've just got the sales page up. We are, and I don't know anybody else has even heard of this or does it. It's called Quartet, and it's by Patrick Redford. You can get it directly from patrickredford.com. And you can buy, it's $150. But they're made to order, okay, because it's made to order, but there's a full performance video on there. And this is the description. Listen to this. 4 people arrange themselves in any order. You predict exactly where they stand. It's that direct. This has been George Tate's opener for years. It'll arrive fully assembled and ready to perform. It packs flat and pays big. Very few routines of this nature allow you to simply walk on stage and go. No preset required. 4 people invited on stage, each given one of 4 different coloured numbers. Numbered envelopes, and a 5th envelope containing a prediction of a 4-digit number is made up of the 4 digits seen on the envelopes. The 4 participants are invited to read the performer's mind and arrange the envelopes and themselves in a new order. There's no procedure. They're simply asked to arrange themselves however they wish. Upon arriving at their destinations, the prediction is opened and they've matched perfectly. As a kicker, the 4 now decide as a group which one of the 4 envelopes should be surrendered to the performer. Whoever surrenders their envelope leaves the stage. The envelope is opened and by the performer, and the word "mine" is seen on the card. The other 3 participants open their envelopes and find that theirs contain yours. Think about this. The envelopes stay in full view the whole time. The 4 participants have a free choice of where they choose to stand. The contents of the envelopes are removed by the participants. The envelopes are seen and feel empty after the contents are removed. The large final prediction, when unfolded, is a massive poster. The final prediction envelope is delivered blank, so you can customize it as you wish. It's incredible. It's incredible. And he says here, I only make these by hand. I plan to assemble 50 more of these packages this year. They'll be made to order and I expect them to sell out quickly. Reserve yours now. And it's true. It's the best chair test on the market, bar none. Nobody's doing it, and it's super practical. If you do a stage show, you really need this trick. It's called Quartet, and it's by Patrick Redford. Okay, so the next question is from Jack Gatt, and Jack says, good show, Craig. Question, I've never used a pull or a wrist pull, but I'm mucking around with something. Does the cord have to go through some type of tubing, as friction is causing me some hassle? Normally with a pull, it's just literally on a piece of elastic. What you do tend to find is the problem with a pull. If you've got the pull taped here or in place there, and you're holding it here, when it flies back, it might fly all the way back, and you don't want that. So it's nice to have a break, have another clip or another safety pin here, and put the elastic through that safety pin. So it's literally just dangling down there in the shirt or the jacket. So in other words, when you need the pull, it's very easy to just get it straight into the hand. And then when you do whatever vanish you're using, it's just there and it doesn't go flying behind your back. So you have to kind of dig through your clothes to get it if you want to do it again. In terms of friction, no, you don't need any tubing or anything like that. Literally just get a piece of elastic, get a couple of safety pins, and just practice it. That's the best piece of advice I can give you. But, I think that's answered your question, but if it hasn't, let me know and I can expand on it in a future Q&A. Okay, so the next question is by Jonah Berg, and Jonah Berg says, what's the best visual shocking trick? I actually think that the best visual shocking trick, in my opinion, is Sudden Deck by David Regal. I just think it's incredible. I just think it's incredible. It's not for every environment, but for the right time, right place. I mean, you've got a piece of cardboard, it prints itself. It's obviously nothing but a piece of cardboard. You close it up, it becomes a box, you pull out a pack of cards, and it's a regular deck, and you're good to go. I mean, it's incredible, really, when you think about it. It's really mind-blowing. I think a lot of people don't realise just how good it is. So, yeah, best visual shocking trick, in my opinion, is Sudden Deck 3. It's brilliant. Okay, so Jonah Berg also asks, what's the top 3 close-up tricks of all time? Man, that's a question and a half, isn't it? In my act, it would be coins across, chop, and keymaster. I think it would. Those are the 3 that if I could only ever perform 3 tricks again for the rest of my life, it would be those 3. One thing that you'll see from the magic that I do is I try to make it so that it's very non-card orientated. I've got no problem doing card magic, and I do a lot of card magic. But in all honesty, I gravitate away from card magic an awful lot when I'm performing in the real world, because I want to stand out. And I know when I pull a pack of cards out, people are going to go, oh, I've seen that one before. By doing non-card magic, I don't get that. So I think that any list of the top 3 close-up tricks of all time are going to be made up of tricks that don't involve card magic. Okay, so the final question is from James W. Wood, or James M. Wood, and he says, hi Craig, thanks for being a great online teacher, more than welcome. I'm writing now to ask you about Gypsy tape that you presented in your program about 2 years ago. Blake Voigt, great trick. You described a long and ultimately unsuccessful search to find a brand of tape that works for the trick. If possible, I'd like to find out what brand of tape you recommend. I bought the download that teaches the trick and I want to start learning it as soon as I learn your recommendation. Thanks, Jim. I'm going to put a link in the description down below, Jim, because frankly, I can't remember the name of the tape. I bought like 15 rolls of it about 2 years ago, and I'm still making my way through the 15 rolls. I've still got tons of it. And it's in my warehouse, and I'm filming this in my house. So I can't tell you right now, but I'm going to put a link in the description down below. I know I got it from Amazon. But yeah, I'll put a link in the description down below. It's available everywhere. It just was very hard to come by, and it took a long time. I had to buy lots of tape before I got the right stuff. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Leave it with me, and I'll put a link in the description. So there you go, guys. That's another Q&A in the bag. Do me a favor, let me know what you think in the comments down below. You want to see more videos like this? Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Again, leave a comment down below. Thank you once again for joining me on a Sunday afternoon. Don't forget, I've got a review show special this evening and a 5x5 on Monday. I'll be back again tomorrow, like I said. But if you haven't already done so, please go ahead and join the Netrix. It's www.thenetrix.com. That's www.thenetrix.com. My online streaming platform for magicians. I'm constantly updating it. We've got some massive updates coming in the next 3 or 4 weeks, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. I'll see you again soon. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.